matter to the appraiser. What matters, it doesn't matter if it's a scientific fact, what matters is, does the buying public believe it? If they do, and they act on that belief, that's a fact. And that's why it was mentioned earlier, EMFs. I will never go into court and argue EMFs devalue property value. Why not? It opens the door for someone like ATC to spend $250,000 and bring all these MDs in to all give testimony how it doesn't affect people and all of this type of thing. The fact is, the jury is out. They don't know for a fact whether it does or not. But the appraiser doesn't care. What the appraiser cares is, does the buying public believe it, and do they act on that belief? And that's what we reflect. In your situation, the actual loss of the cows would be civil action. The actual impact of the property value by the belief of the potential buyer that they would have this issue is a market issue. And that's what the appraiser would represent.
I'm a little confused about that. In answer to this other gentleman's question about a house being potentially in an easement, and you said that that would be unusual, that the house would fall in the easement.
Extremely.
Okay, so if this ATC transmission line were proposed to come down Highway 33, there are a lot of residences that are within that 3,000 feet.
Okay. Within 3,000, but not in the easement.
Okay.
So I'm talking, there's two things that are going through my mind. One is the 150-foot wide easement. Anything in that, that's called in the easement. But if a house is right next to it, it's not in the easement, but if it's still on the property, it's impacted.
Because I'm located 2 miles east of town on 33, and my house sits there and my business sits there. And from the highway to my house, probably not more than, I don't think it probably is more than 300 feet from the actual highway.
Okay.
So if they ran that transmission line along the highway, obviously my house would be within that.
Well, the transmission would be 150, let's make an assumption, 300 feet from the edge of the right-of-way of the highway to the front of your house. Okay. Well, you have a 300-foot corridor. They may take up 150 feet of that. Your house is not in the easement, but the easement is on your property. That's
so
different.
If that power line ran 150 foot from my house,
that will have an
that would
impact
have
on
a
your property.
definite impact on my property.
Absolutely, and that's not being denied, and that's a damage. What I'm saying is, I was envisioning at least the house in the easement of 150 feet. I'm thinking that's extraordinarily rare. We have seen ATC literally go zigzag across the road to avoid homes like that. Quite a bit, yeah. I have a great picture I could show you of it. It's like all the way down the highway. It's pretty amazing.
And ATC will purchase the easement, right?
Yes.
But they will not give you any type of reimbursement for the value of the land.
No, they do. Here's what happens. ATC has the first opportunity to pay you, keyword, just compensation for the taking, that's eminent domain talk. Taking meaning they're taking the land for their purposes. So they must pay just compensation. U.S. Constitution, 5th and 14th Amendments demand this. All right? How they define what they think is just compensation is in their realm. That's their realm of their appraiser. Their appraiser may greatly disagree with me, for instance. I was asked earlier, there was a case cited in the newspaper. It was up in the Wausau area where the debate was between $7,000 or about $7,700 by ATC's appraiser and approximately $40,000 by the property owner's appraiser. I was the property owner's appraiser. The question is, how in the world can two appraisers look at the same thing and be that far off? And the answer is very simple. It's how you look at the impact of the market. Almost always, the argument is going to be narrowed down to the damage to the remainder. That case was the damage to the remainder. The appraiser and I completely agreed on the actual loss of the easement, approximately $78,000. The entire disagreement was, is there any damage to the remainder? ATC's appraiser said absolutely none. You can stand 1 foot away from that power line easement and there's absolutely no damage to value, period. Your house can be there, all right? That was ATC's testimony, their appraiser's testimony. I beg to differ. And my difference was based on the research we've done, comparable sales and other things showing absolutely the power line has an impact to the remainder. That's the difference. So ATC is going to come with their perspective. They have the first right of offer. And by the way, I remembered what it was called for those who were here earlier. It's called nominal offer. That's their first offer, which does not come with a full appraisal. It is nominal, and not meaning the amount is nominal. It means it's nominal in the sense that it's nominally supported. By law, they're supposed to have a full appraisal to support it, but for utilities and something, there's some way they get around this, and they offer a nominal offer. That offer does not start the second opinion. That's simply a, let's see if we can get them to agree to this offer, is what it really is. They will come back after that's refused with a full appraisal to support whatever offer they're making at that point. And that's going to be their first offer.
Keith, can I interject a little bit?
Yes.
Okay. This part I know I didn't mention on the front end of things. My wife and I